Well, hello everybody. And little buddy, he's with me today. He's been tagging along with me out in the garden. Man, I tell you, look at everything popping up out of the buckets and the totes. Look at this. Isn't this unreal? All of that rain we've been getting. And I've got to put my camera in this holder. So just bear with me a second. I had left my rake out. I got to go put it in the shed. It's been raining all day. Not hard, but, you know, enough to get you wet if you're outside. So I was just able to come out and check on things. And I noticed I had left my rake out. So I'm putting that in the shed. Little buddy said he's staying up on the porch. He's standing up there wondering, what am I doing? He's wondering, what am I doing? Well, I've been out here checking my cucumber vines and they started running, so I decided I was going to see if I could train them up the cages here instead of letting them go down all over the ground. So I got one of them done, that first one right there. But I've been over there doing the second one. Because I prefer that they grew up on the cage, and then they'll probably go from one cage to the other, and God knows where after that. But I wanted to try to get them up off the ground as much as possible. So that's what I'm out here doing. I figured while it was not raining, and I mean, I've already got cucumbers on these things. And I'd really prefer that they were not down on the ground. So I don't want to pull them so tight that they break. And I got my winter squash over here running out of the tote. I mean, look at this one. I wish I had some kind of trellis to put that up on. But I can't get anything stuck in the ground at it because it's there's too many rocks. I was lucky I got that little hole to put the bag in. Because I'd really like to get it up off the ground. But I don't know how far those vines are going to go. And I don't know if my trellis would be big enough. But see, they're going over here on my cabbage too. I mean, it's got like a foot of growth overnight. And the one over here is... Let me get this. The one over here is trying to... It's trying to vine out. It's got a vine coming out, 2 of them. And my cantaloupe. I just don't know how to get it up off the ground. Because cantaloupes are pretty heavy. Cantaloupe in the middle down there. And I'm not sure what this one was. I thought it was a cantaloupe. Yep, that's a cantaloupe too. See, I got my vines growing all behind the buckets. I'd really love to get it up, but I don't have a stake long enough. I may have to order some of those long tomato stakes and have it go up that. And look at here, my watermelon. It's got 2 vines fixing to go somewhere. And I'd love to get them up off the ground, but I don't think it's going to be possible. I really don't. My squash. Yeah, I got all kind of squash coming on in there. Squash likes the sun. That's a winter squash there. And there's my watermelon. Look how much growth it's put on there since the rain. And here's a shark fin squash. And this is a cantaloupe vine in this little pot. In fact, there's like 3 of them. I need to get some of them out. There's too many in there. And this is that weird cucumber. I probably could put a tomato cage or something to this one. But I'm not sure how tall it would get. And this one is fixing to vine out. And I don't want it on my tomato. Look at that. It's already going back here. It'll be going up my Easter sign. It's starting to rain again, so I'm going to have to go in probably. Woo. It messed my fishing trip up. I was going to go fishing and didn't get to go fishing. And this watermelon vine here, I'm not sure which watermelon that is. I'm afraid that it may be it's a crimson watermelon. So I'm not sure how big it'll get. So I'm almost afraid to try to put it on a trestle. Because you know, watermelons can get pretty good size. And I don't want them to fall over. I mean, get so big that they turn the whole frame and everything over. There's a squash down in there. I don't know why my leeks are growing really well in this pot or bucket. They're not growing that well back on the other side. And look at that Swiss chard. I mean, that's amazing. And I got the cabbage worms getting after my cabbage, or the bugs. Something's been biting it. Cabbage worms. Guess I'm gonna have to spray them. See, they're not getting to these. So what I'm gonna have to do is spray them and put those nets over them, I guess, and see if that'll help. I should have kept them covered, but I didn't. Let's see what I can find in here. I don't like to use the stuff that you spray them with, but hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And like I said, it's a vegetable spray for tomato and other veggies, so it's safe to use. And let's see, I think I got another. We'll put this down. Cage or two in here if I didn't take them both out. I got this one. Yeah, the rain messed my fishing trip up today. So I just decided to come back home and check on my garden. Because I knew the way it's been rainy all day, the minute I got out there with my gear to fish, I'd end up with rain pouring down on me. And I just have to get everything up and get back home anyway. So I decided to forget about it. Get this camera set. Because I'm going to try to spray it first. Or either just get those leaves off that they're eating. No, it's not opening far enough. I just decided I'd try them out here to see how it would work, to plant them in the ground, to see how much problems I would have with the worms on them. And I can already see I'm going to have a problem with them. So, hey buddy, what are you doing? Huh? I need to fix one of those bigger domes on it. This isn't quite big enough. But it might help since I've sprayed them. I'm going to put these in the compost tea buckets. Those worms, they're persistent as all get out. And I don't know what you could see in there, probably just my head. But I got a bucket here to catch all the rainwater. I'm going to put these leaves right in there. Get any more, I'll put in that one there. And I need to get a lid for that. I'm out of lids. But maybe that net right there will work for right now until I can get a bigger one made to protect those leaves. Keep the worms off of them. Let's check this other one over here because I don't have another I don't have another net made yet for this. But they're not on this one. Not like they got on the other one. So we'll spray it a little bit and see if that keeps them away until I can get nets a little bit bigger to fix for these. I could put a net all the way around the thing here. That might be an option. I wanted to check this other stuff, but I don't see any signs of worms eating anything. It's probably not going to do any good to spray them because the rain is going to wash everything off. I had a little bit of trouble on this side. Let me flip this camera so I can see what I'm... Otherwise, I'm going to be showing you my backside and everything else. And I don't see any signs of worms eating these cabbage leaves. I'm looking good to see if they see any of them on them. No, these don't have no worms on them. So I'm not going to spray it. Huh. Yeah, I might be able to rig up take some of that tulle and go around these with it and put it there temporarily. And that way I won't have to have that net on it. I'll have this up here on it. So that might be an option. I'll have to check that out. I don't know how much tulle I've got left in the shed, so. But everything is just growing so well right now. Ain't that right, little buddy? Huh? He's right here with me. I wanted to go, and I had moved the marigold, and from over here, you know, it was in that pot, and it was covering up the tomatoes and the pepper and the watermelon. But look how it's perked up since I took that marigold out of the center, because it kept it shaded. It couldn't grow. So I took that out, left the grow bag in there with plenty of compost and stuff in it. So when I watered, it's going to help feed the other plants in the big tote. And I put a tomato plant in there, so I think that'll work better. And I think the marigold will work better over here in the little pot planted with the eggplant. And I think I got one okra plant coming up in there. But I've got like 4 eggplants in there. So I don't think all of them will survive. We'll see. Some's been eating on that leaf. I don't know what. Just cut it. It didn't eat it really. But see all this stuff out here that grows up toward my shed? That's one thing I got that weed eater, cordless weed eater mower for, is to keep a lot of that trimmed back because I can't get the mower in there. It's too rocky and there's too many dips and holes, and everything else. And all this underbrush here, I'm going to try it out on that because it's got that metal blade that is supposed to cut through some of that stuff. And all behind here, behind my pots, because that stuff gets so growed up I can't walk back there. So I need to keep it mowed down, but you can't get back there with the lawnmower. So that's what I got the weed eater for all these types of places. And to keep those oak limbs cut down, because they keep still sprouting out even though the trees are cut. And that stump right there keeps putting out an oak leaf limb. So I have to keep those cut off. So, and I thought that tree was dead, but look, it's got sprouts back out on it, so it's putting out more leaves. So, I don't know, it's crazy. I think something's dead. It looks decayed totally. Or still one part of it may be totally decayed. The one on this side with that white cord wrapped around it. Because that one doesn't look like it's alive. It doesn't have anything put out on it. But the other side is the side that's got limbs coming back out on it. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that old dead part will just fall off, or maybe I can get out here and cut it off. But yeah, I think those plants will be better suited without the marigold in there, because it was shading it out. That poor watermelon plant couldn't get any sun, so it was not going nowhere. It was just dying from lack of vitamin C, I guess. My little pepper plants are spurted up. They're trying to grow. That one looks like it's kind of giving in. It's still alive, but I put a couple of seed in there, so. But I mean, everything looks good. Now I'm just worried about it sprawling all over the yard. Look at that. Yellow squash. I'm going to be eating me some yellow squash before long. This one's got it too. Look, 3 of them in there. Yeah, I know the sun gets hot on this stuff, but you got to have the sun or they're not going to grow. I think those leeks right there are starting to grow a little bit since I pulled them out and transplanted them. So maybe these will too. And I see some of my tomato seeds coming up. That rainbow, yellow pear tomato, I can see seeds sprouting up. And the rainbow cherry mix right there is sprouting out. So I've never planted those before, so I'm anxious to see how they turn out. And you know what? Looks like I got to train this vine over here. The peas. To go up this trellis, or they're going to wrap around the tomato plant behind it. So I'm going to take some of this cordage and I'm going to tie it to the bottom down here. And then I'm going to run it up. Kind of do this number. I'm not going to get it tight, but I'm going to wrap it around just a little. And tie the top of it up here. And maybe that will encourage it to go up. Don't want to get it too tight. I'm afraid you can't see what I'm doing. Let me put the camera back here a ways. And I'm just using yarn. It's not that strong, but it's strong enough to hold a bean vine up. And it's something that the vine doesn't mind growing on. So if you've got any yarn at your house, you can use it to train your beans and stuff to go up your trellis, just like I did the cucumbers over there. And I'm hoping it'll work. It's worked in the past, so. Hopefully it'll work this time. And I'm probably, like before, I'm going to have so much stuff growing on this one trellis. Because I got tomatoes that are going to go up. I got foot-long peas on this side. I got my peas on the other side. Ain't that right, little buddy, huh? And it looks like I'm going to have all the basil I'm going to need forever. If those plants survive, I've got about 20 or 30 basil seeds that sprouted and have come up. I told you, if I gave in and bought that one, I'd end up planting more seed and I'd have more plants than I would need. All this rain has helped tremendously. Now I can't find the edge of this. Well, getting knots in it. Where's the end? I found it. But I'm just tying one end down to the bottom of this arbor. If I can see what I'm doing. And that's going to help train these foot-long beans to go up the trellis, hopefully. And again, you don't want to pull it too tight, because if you do, it'll cause the plant to break. So that's a good use for some yarn if you're not using it for anything else. Hopefully that'll get them to come right on up that vine. And I'll do that tomatillo the same way. I was going to take them out and put them over here, and I may do one of them now. Take one out and put it over here at the big arbor. That's where I really wanted these tomatillos at. Big one. I just hope it'll survive me transplanting it. We've got peppers and everything else in there. This is a big pot, so it can handle more than just one plant. Hopefully that tomatillo will survive. And I know it just rained, but even if the ground is wet, I like to put extra water or compost tea to anything if I just transplanted it. That will help it. Oh. And for the life of me, I don't remember. Let me turn this again. I don't remember what tomato I planted in that little black pot. But look at the way that thing is growing. Look at it. You could barely see it when I first put it in there, and I may have to put a taller tomato cage to it, or put some kind of supports to the top. It says Brandywine, and if it's a Brandywine, it's going to go up to the sky. What I'm going to have to do is put another tomato cage to it and make it taller. Or get some more tomato stakes and do a do one of those trellises that I put the garden hose or the tubing at the top of, like that one. So it'll be tall enough for that tomato to grow on. So I'm gonna have to get me some more of the tomato stakes though to do that. And the store was out of them, so I'll probably have to order them. And that might be the best bet, is to order some more of those and cut my tubing and make taller tomato stakes or tomato cages so those tomatoes can climb up them. And see, even in the cages, sometimes you have to take the yarn and put it around your plants, like these here. And I gotta turn it around. I hate to get in front of the camera and not be able to see what I'm showing you. But these here, that's the cilantro there. But this tomato here, that is a super stake. I don't know, I'm not sure how tall it's going to get. So I'm not going to worry with this one. And these are delicious tomatoes, or either the taller ones. And I put that there because I wasn't sure how tall it was going to get. But I need one like this over on that one if it gets as tall as I think it's going to get. And then that is not even going to be tall enough. What I may want to do is make an arch from this tomato cage here over to the small one over there, so it can kind of go up, because I put a shovel handle in that last year. Look at that, to make it go. I mean, I fastened it on. I fastened it on the top of that tomato cage. See right there? It's fastened on. And it goes up probably 10 feet in the air. But if those tomatoes do what they did out there last year, they'll go to the top of that and then fall over. So that little one back there is definitely not going to be tall enough. So I'm going to have to come up with another solution for that one back there. I moved tomatoes around so much, and some of the markers that I put in there faded out. So now, right now, I don't remember exactly what tomato I've got where. I tried to put all the ones that were going to climb here next to the arbor. You know, I got them on each side, just like the tomatillos, because the tomatillos get pretty tall. This is a delicious tomato here. I could get one of those cages and put it on that one right now, because it's probably going to fall over if I don't. Or I can tie it up to that trellis. You can go up the side of it. Right over here. And that's supposed to be aroma there, so it shouldn't get too tall. But this is full of buds at the top of it, so it should have a bunch of tomatoes on there. And I got a sweetie cherry here. I tried to put all the tomato plants over on this side that were going to grow up tall, or put them where I had something to support them with. But like I said, I've changed some of them around and moved them so much. Now, a lot of them, I don't know what's what anymore. So, yeah, I probably don't need to put a cage to that. I can tie it up to the arbor if it needs support, if it gets any taller. It's close enough I can do that. But yeah, the ones that I've got covered up over here, my cabbages and my tree collards, there's no worms getting on them. They can't get in there. But they don't have that much room to grow either. And see that one that they got into before? I broke all those outer leaves off of it. Now look at it. It's putting all the leaves back on it. So. And see this tomato right here? It's at a tall support, and what I'm going to do with that is put the cord. I can run a cord up from the top down to it to help keep it straight. If I can find the end of my cord again on my string. I'm always losing the ends of it. There it is. But I can tie it right to this handle on this tub. And I wish it was closer to that, but what I can do, nah, I don't want to do it that way. What I think I'm going to do is tie it to the top. Tie it to the tomato plant. And you don't need to make it tight on the tomato stalk, because that tomato is going to grow. It's going to get bigger. I don't have clips, or I'd use a clip. And that ain't going to work, I don't think. But what you can do is tie it right to the plant. And put your string right up here. That's not so tight that it's not going to grow. Little buddy, you're something. But it'll keep it straight. It's strong enough to keep it straight. And as it grows, you can kind of intertwine it with that. But that is a... No, I don't think I marked the tomato. It says it's a delicious tomato, but it's getting awfully tall. I don't know how tall a delicious tomato gets, because I've never planted one before. But that'll help keep it upright. And that's what I'll be doing to a lot of them that have the tomato stake with the tubing at the top. You can do the string method and just tie it to the tubing at the top of your trellis. And that will help keep your tomato straight. Keep it from falling over while it's growing. And I tied it in a way that I can take it loose at the top and give it a little bit more string if it needs it, if it gets too tight on it. Look at little buddy over there. He's doing his famous off lay down. He's laying on that cool, damp concrete, cooling that belly off. Ain't that something else? But yeah, if you did the tomato trellises with the tubing at the top, that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm using those trellises. Is I'm using a string tied to actually to the tomato, and then it goes all the way up. It goes from the tomato. It goes from the tomato where I got it tied, and it's not real tight. You got to leave a loop at least 5 or 6 times the size of that stem to give it room to grow. And then see, I've got it tied to the tubing at the top. So that's going to allow that tomato to stand straight. And I don't know how tall it's going to get. That one may have needed a smaller cage. I don't know. Like I said, I've not planted that type of tomato before, so I don't know how tall it's going to get. So to play it safe, I put it in a tall trellis thing. And I've got all my other tomatoes in tall ones back there that I can tie up as they grow. I don't think any of them need tying up yet. Look at that raspberry. Isn't that raspberry looking good since it's rained? Look. We got a couple of days rain on it. It looks amazing. If we get a little bit of rain just every once in a while to keep everything. I'm thinking that delicious tomato's not going to get that tall, but I don't know. Like I said, I've gotten my plants mixed up. And I'm not 100% sure which tomato is which. That one may be a Roma tomato, and if it is, I don't have to worry about it because I don't think they're going to get very tall at all. But those other ones will. I was over there looking to see how I stand on my tool, if I've got enough of it to do any good. And it looks like I got plenty. So I might go ahead and try to fix a tool cage around those 2 cabbage plants out there. Yeah, but I know these tomatoes right here. Well, I don't know because it says delicious tomatoes. So I'm not sure how tall they're going to get. I might be able to take that tall cage out of that and put it to that one behind it. That's in that little bucket, in the little pot. Because I'm pretty sure that one's going to be a cherry tomato, and it's going to get 12 foot tall. So I might be able to take this this support here to these tomatoes and move it back there to that little one. I'm going to wait before I move it just to see. But once that one thing back there starts vining out too bad and growing too much, I'm going to have to support it with something other than that little cage. So that is an option. I can move that support over to that other plant. And see, I'm not 100% sure that that tomato that's in that box is going to go up as tall as that trellis or not, but it's there temporarily till I see what it's going to do. And if I don't need it to that one, I'll move it to one that does need it, and I'll put a smaller support to that one. So we'll see. We will see. Ain't that right, little buddy? Huh? Ain't that right, little buddy? He's been following me around out here to see what I'm up to. See what I'm doing in the garden. Every once in a while, the sun comes out like it's not going to rain anymore. And then all of a sudden, it just starts raining again. He's found him a bug. He's chasing him a bug. Yeah, but the main things I wanted to get staked up was those cucumber vines. Because when I planted them out here before, there was an old dead tree here, and they'd climb the tree. And they're already starting to put out cucumbers. So I know they got cucumbers. But this one right here hasn't vined out enough to do that to yet. It will, though. This ground is so unlevel, I can't even put the tripod down to... Little buddy, don't... He's pushing on the tripod, wanting it to pet him. I could tie one to it. Get it already trained to go up it, because it's just now starting to kind of vine out a little bit. I can't find the end again. There it is. Found the end. Well, I can't get hold of the string. I can't see it for the leaves. All the way down to this little bit. Now it's going to get tangled up on me. kind of sticks to it. Probably can't see anything but my head in the camera. But I gotta get down there to it. There. Let me see what I'm doing. It's impossible to show everything. The camera is too close. Now that might work. I had a little bit of green yarn, so I thought that might look better out here than to put some other color. But I don't guess it matters. Well, this ain't gonna work. I can't get it tied right. Getting this other end all tangled up. It won't go through the hole. Got it in a knot. Now, only I didn't get it tied the way I wanted it. Let me try again. Maybe I won't get it tangled this time. Almost spoke too soon. Oh, come on. Story of my life. not working out. I can't get it tied under there. Now I got wood chips tangled up in it. Is anything going to go right today? I got it all tangled up. Well, we can definitely do this number. Have it go in 2 different directions, I guess. Because I'm going to keep messing around down there with that vine till I'm going to break it, and I don't want to do that. Oh, this won't happen to anybody but me. I don't believe this crap. Got it in like a triple knot or something here. Nobody could do this but me. Finally. Now, in the perfect world, that'll climb right up there. So I guess we'll see if it does or not. If it goes up the trellis and starts back down, and if it survives, it's that big, more power to it. I'll be tickled to death. I will be absolutely tickle pink. Yeah, that's plenty loose. I don't want them too tight. And I just don't know what to do with this. I think it's a shark fin. I had a zucchini in there, but the zucchini plant didn't make it. So I put the shark fin in there. I can get them to go in this way, I'll be happy too, rather than in the path. At least I get my gas delivered. Because I don't want the vines sprawled all here in the path to where you can't walk through here, because the gas man's got to come through the arbor. He'll leave his truck out there on the highway. He'll pull that big old hose right down here through the arbor and right down this path and get to the gas tank to fill it up. So I don't want that vine growing over his path to get through there. If I do, he'll be dragging that hose over the top of it. And it won't be his fault. You know, I wasn't thinking of getting the gas delivered whenever I planted my stuff there. But I didn't have that many choices on where to dig a hole. Because where the rock is right there, you can't dig a hole. That was the only spot I could dig a hole, was right there and where those 2 cabbages were. The rest of it had rocks under it, so you couldn't dig a hole. Same way with these other ones. I mean, I was lucky that I was able to dig holes that uniform. You know, it almost looks like it was in rows, which it is, but most of it has so many rocks under there you can't dig a hole. You can't even put a tomato stake in pushed in the ground. And like I said, not knowing what that is, I think it's a shark skin, or it's either a shark fin squash or it's a winter squash. If it's the winter squash, it may be best to leave it on the ground. The shark fin as well, because I don't know how heavy they'll get. And I got another one right over there. It's the same plant, so let me see if I've got this one marked. I think I did. I think I marked this one. Yeah, it's a shark fin squash. So I'm not sure how tall it's going to get. And I'm probably going to have to come out here and put a cage to this tomato plant, because I'm not sure what tomato plant that is. If it gets too tall, I mean, I hope it's one of the smaller tomatoes. And I got my Kajari melons right here. I got that down to 2. But really, 2 plants in that little bitty black pot is too many. I got that down to 1 plant. That's a Kajari melon. And I think I put another Kajari melon right there, because I figured the tote could handle 2. But this little pot, yeah, I need to get some of those out of there. That's a cantaloupe. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in there. So I need to get some of them out. Don't know what I'm going to do with them. I don't have any more. Well, I do have another bucket, I think. I could put one in a bucket. And I don't know what that is. That looks like some kind of a pea or a bean. I didn't plant peas in there. And I got those bell pepper in there, and all of a sudden, this yellow something, what it was, that's yellow bell pepper. This I don't know if it's a squash, a cantaloupe, or what it is, seed come up. And this one's vining, and I got a tomato plant in there. So, I don't know. I end up with either a jungle or nothing at all. I'm nowhere in between. My peppers in there are looking good. And my squash, my yellow squash, that looks like it's going to be putting out tons of squash in there. But I think that'll work with my cucumbers. I'm hoping it will. If it don't get so hot on them, it just burns them up going up the stake. I found they don't like to travel the cage, that's for sure. I guess it gets too hot. But I figure they're not going to mind maybe going on the cord, the yarn, because it's not going to get hot like that metal will. So we'll see what happens. I think next year when I plant them, I'm not going to have them with those metal cages. I'll put these trellises with the tubing at the top like that, and just tie strings and let them go up the strings. I think they'll like that better. Let's see, I'm going to see if I've got any more buckets. I don't think I'm going to fix it right now, but I'm just going to check. Yeah, I got one more in there, but I was going to save that for a water bucket or in case I needed one. So I don't know. I might take it out and use it anyway. But we're not going to fix it right now. I guess I've kept you people long enough. Just wanted to let you know I did come in from the rain, and it's been raining on me off and on even while doing this video. But I knew good and well if I got out there on that pier to fish, it would pour down rain on me out there, and it would be just a waste of time to go. So I'm home. Oh, I wanted to give you an update too on our cinder blocks. I mean, look at all the little plants in the cinder block. There's one that didn't do. I don't know, maybe I missed not getting seed in there or something. But you can see in the other ones, look at the plants, the marigolds, the okra. See, in just about every single one of the pots, I mean the holes, I've got something growing. You just have to remember to keep them watered, because the dirt dries out faster in those little holes because it's a cinder block. Those cinder blocks breathe, and they drain real well. So you just have to remember to keep them watered, even if you have to put a little water on them every day. But your stuff will grow. All my okra didn't come up. I don't know, maybe something was wrong with some of the seed. I might come back, and I don't see any hot peppers that have come up. I may come back and reseed some of them with the hot peppers. I think that's what I did last year, and it took them a while to come up, but they did come up. And see my basil, it's liking it there. It's going to start growing again. It must be established now, so hopefully I'll have at least one basil plant, if not 30, because all those seeds came up that I put in that little pot out there. I mean, that's the way it happened the first time, but then for some reason they just died off. But look at this. That's my basil seed that I planted. Looks like all of the seed that I put in there sprouted. And like I said, I don't know if all of them will make it, but hopefully this time they will, and I'll have more plants to put around the garden and other spots. It's helped that it's been cooler and we've got some rain. So, we'll see. Just like there, a lot of those pepper seeds came up, but then they just disappeared. I guess something ate them or something other. But 2 of them there have survived, and I've got 1 there. 1 of each is fine with me as long as they do survive, because I want some of those sweet yellow peppers. They look like jalapenos, but they're sweet yellow peppers. I may have to reseed it just a little bit, because I didn't put too many seeds in there. I didn't want to waste my seed. So, I might come back out here in a little bit and drop a couple of more seeds in there just to make sure I get a plant. But if I get 1 plant in each one of these pots, I'll be happy. I mean, that'll give me enough of those yellow peppers that I won't need anymore. Just like I said, I've basically ran out of spots to plant anything. I mean, it's going to end up looking like a jungle like it did last year. Because every pot that I own has got something planted in it. I'm just waiting to see how they survive and what they do. So. But anyway, I just thought I'd get on here and show you how I'm staking up or trellising up my tomato plants, the ones that are big enough that really need it right now. And you can do the same thing, whether you're using a tall tomato cage or the tomato sticks with the tubing at the top, or any kind of a trellis. You can string them on a string of yarn or anything that's, you know, strong enough just to hold them up. And they don't mind going up the yarn. I found that out in the past. It's a softer fabric stuff, you know, yarn is. And they don't mind, their little tentacles don't mind wrapping around it. Where those tomato cages, they don't like to wrap around it because it's metal. And that sun hits it, it gets that metal hot. So they don't want to go on them. So, yeah, I better put my spray back in there. But I'll have to go get my scissors, I guess, and cut me a piece of that twill and wrap those spots out there where my cabbages are and fix them so the worms can't land on them. Because something got there and laid eggs is what happened, and they ended up just about taking over that one cabbage. So I need to go ahead and cover the other one too. Cover both of them actually, but I need to get a bigger, you know, a bigger net area for them to grow in. So with that, I think I'll spare you the details of trial and error of trying to figure out how to put the tool on there. Maybe I'll show you the finished product later. But yeah, with that, I'm going to wish y'all a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Love each and every one of you. I am so thankful that I have all of you subscribers, and I'm getting more. I want all the subscribers I can get. I feel really loved by having as many subscribers as I've got. So, as I said, please, and little Buddy does too. He's so appreciative. He likes all of our subscribers. He's been really enjoying the food that was sent to him. He says it's really good. He loves it. I mean, he runs to the door waiting for it every meal time. He feels his belly full, that's for sure. So, like I said, with that, please like, share, subscribe to my videos. Y'all have a blessed day. I will catch you on my next video. Bye now.